If you're hunting for the Razer Wolverine V2 Chroma, hoping it's the ultimate Xbox controller to dominate your games, stick around because I've got some hard truths to share. At first glance, it looks like a dream. Killer RGB lighting, extra remappable buttons, hair trigger mode, and swappable thumbsticks all wrapped in slick, ergonomic design. But here's what surprised me. This controller isn't all rainbows and unicorns. It actually comes with some glaring issues that could seriously frustrate you. You'd think with Razer's reputation, they'd nail every detail right. Well, not exactly. So before you hit buy, let's dive deep into what's really going on under the hood. Spoiler alert. It's not all bad, but it's not perfect either. The Wolverine V2 Chroma is officially licensed by Xbox and screams next-gen customization, promising you can tweak everything to match your play style. 16.8 million colors of Razer Chroma RGB lighting, 6 additional remappable buttons, and a hair trigger mode that claims to boost your reaction time. Sounds like the ultimate tool for serious gamers, right? But let me provide the full picture because the devil is in the details. So who's this controller really for? If you're a competitive Xbox gamer who loves to tinker with your setup, seeking every tiny advantage, the Wolverine V2 Chroma was tailored with you in mind. You want ultra-responsive controls, a handful of extra buttons to remap tricks you can pull off without fumbling, and something that feels comfortable for those marathon gaming sessions. But casual gamers or those who prefer plug-and-play simplicity might find its features overwhelming or unnecessary. Also, its wired design might be a turnoff for some who prefer the freedom of wireless gaming. Let's talk build quality because Razer hyped the ergonomics pretty heavily. It sports modified L-shaped hand grips with non-slip rubber, aiming for all-day comfort and more control. When I tried it, the grip was solid and the texture did keep my hands from sliding during intense clashes. However, the controller did feel a bit heavier than some competitors, which may tire out smaller hands over time. And while the swappable thumbstick caps are a cool touch for customizing feel and precision, swapping them in and out isn't as seamless as I hoped. Sometimes they feel a little loose if not perfectly aligned. Imagine trying to win a close game while your thumbstick suddenly decides it's a fidget spinner. Not ideal. Now, onto those 6 extra remappable buttons. This is where most people get excited, and for good reason. 4 extra triggers plus 2 bumpers can be programmed through the Razer controller setup for Xbox app, giving you serious control flexibility. The icing on the cake is the hair trigger mode using trigger stop switches that cut the travel distance, enabling rapid firing. Sounds great, right? But here's the hiccup. The app experience is clunky. Setting up profiles isn't always intuitive. Sometimes your saved settings vanish, and there's a noticeable lag between button presses and response. For a controller priced at $69.99, these inconsistencies feel like a letdown, especially when you consider competitors like the Xbox Elite Series 2 or SCUF, offering more polished software support. Speaking of price, $69.99 is reasonable but not cheap. For a controller packed with features, you expect flawless performance. The Amazon rating sits at 4.1 stars, which is decent but doesn't scream must buy. Some reviews praise the tactile buttons, RGB customization, and overall feel. Others, however, complain about the wired-only connection and wrist fatigue during long sessions. There are even reports of build inconsistencies, where some units arrived with faulty buttons or RGB lighting glitches. Remind me not to anger the RGB gods. You're probably wondering about performance in actual gameplay. The Mechatactile action buttons and D-pad are touted as having hyper-responsive actuation with a cushioned touch to give you an edge executing moves. From my experience, these buttons do feel satisfyingly clicky and responsive, which is a definite upgrade over standard Xbox controllers. Combo execution felt smoother, and reactions quicker, thanks in part to hair trigger mode. However, some competitive gamers noted that the hair trigger switches can be accidentally toggled during heated gaming moments, causing unexpected input behavior, like a sneaky ambush from behind. Not cool. Let's sprinkle in some humor here, because speaking of triggers, if this controller had a dating profile, it'd say, swipes fast, but sometimes accidentally. And yes, the wired cable is thick enough to double as a jump rope, so you could technically stay fit while fragging enemies. Or maybe Razer's secret plan is to challenge gamers with a workout the moment competition heats up. Reverse psychology. Anyone. Razer Chroma RGB lighting deserves a shout-out because it's visually stunning. 16.8 million colors synced perfectly with your gameplay to put on a light show. Want to know the twist? The lighting can actually be distracting if you game in a dark room without wanting a mini disco party on your desk. And there's no option for a subtle, gamers in focus, mode that dims the razzle-dazzle, which feels like a missed opportunity. But hey, if you love flashy gear, this controller will keep your setup glowing like the 4th of July. Before we move to the resolution, I need to rehook your attention. What if I told you this controller can be both your best friend in-game and a tiny source of frustration off it? Stay tuned, because I'll tell you when it's worth grabbing the Wolverine V2 Chroma, and when you might want to hold off. Alright, let me spill the final thoughts with some storytelling flair. Picture yourself in the heat of a tournament, fingers dancing across the Wolverine's buttons, the vibrant chroma lights syncing with your every move, and those extra remappable buttons letting you pull off combos you never dreamed possible. You feel unstoppable, until suddenly the hair trigger switch slips or a button input lags just for a split second. That split second costs you the match. Frustrating? Absolutely. But when everything works, the controller delivers a tactile, immersive experience that feels truly next-gen. Here's the bottom line. The Razer Wolverine V2 Chroma is a powerful gaming companion for those who want deep customization and don't mind a wired setup. If you love tweaking your gear and can deal with occasional quirks, you'll appreciate its design, extra buttons, and that eye-catching RGB. But if you prefer hassle-free plug-and-play or wireless freedom, this probably isn't your best pick. On the bright side, Razer's customer support tends to be responsive, so if you do encounter any build issues, they're often quick to help. Plus, the warranty helps ease worries over any defects. It's a solid choice for Xbox enthusiasts on a budget who want premium features without shelling out for the super high-end controllers. And hey, if you appreciate a good dad joke to lighten the mood, the Wolverine's buttons click so satisfyingly, it's like your fingers are having a party. Just don't expect the party to be without a few awkward dance moves. Also, I tried to race my cat to the buttons and guess what? She won. She's wired for speed, but thankfully, she doesn't come with RGB lights. So if you're ready to take a chance on the Wolverine V2 Chroma, I recommend grabbing the best deal on Amazon. Links in the description below. Remember, prices and stock can change very fast, so don't miss out if this controller fits your gaming style. Whether it becomes your trusted gaming partner or a quirky piece of gear on your shelf, it's worth considering. Just be prepared to embrace its occasional oddities. Thanks for sticking with me through this honest review. Happy gaming, and may your triggers never get stuck.